Hello, it's me. So my voice is not dead. I had quite the start today. Before I start, I might just update everyone what is going on. Okay, wait. Let me just adjust the volume for like the. My voice is fighting with the BGM. Hold on. Okay, is this better? Yeah, okay. I think this is good. Right, let's use this sound balance right now. 忙しすぎ。はい、とりあえず I made a few changes in my life. Basically, a few jobs canceled on me. For better or worse, I have no clue, but that kind of means I have a little bit more time on my hands to do certain stuff and projects. But it also means that I have placed my priorities for this year, thanks to New Year resolution, on my health instead. So what happened last week was I got a haircut because Chinese New Year is coming up. I'm scheduling so many things with my work and my social life now. Like, economic downturn is economic downturn. So there are a few students who are pulling out, which is good and kind of no good. Like, I thought my finance would be set for this year, but it kind of looks like it's on a rough start, a little bit of a rough start. But anyways, it means that I have more time for content creation. And I'm stuck because I don't know what kind of streams I should be making ever since Webnovel stopped hosting the WPCs. I'm still waiting for them to come up with something so that I can write on that with Venus, who I have no idea what he's doing actually, but he kind of looks like he's doing well because he had a banner on Webnovel itself, so that's great. Great for him. I hate systems. He's dying with that, but sure. I guess dying in success is kind of a good thing. So I did a poll. Some of you actually said that you wanted a weekly stream, so here I am. I don't have a weekly schedule simply because I don't know exactly when I would not be dead. My health is kind of like fluctuating. So the more I try to keep up to the physical standards, the less able I am in terms of not breaking down. I would say yoga is doing wonders for my back, but at the same time I'm anemic, so it kind of like, falls inside of I don't know what the fuck is happening, but I have insomnia. I try to sleep, I couldn't sleep. I try to readjust my schedule, I couldn't readjust my body cycle. I have to wake up early because yoga class starts like in the morning, right? So I get there, I do my yoga. By the time I travel, I come back, and then I shower, and then I have lunch, and then everything starts settling down, and then the work calls start coming in, and by the time I sort through all my emails, it is about this time. It's like half an afternoon gone. It's coming to 4 p.m. It's 3:45 p.m. right now, exactly. So it's kind of odd. This is how my year kind of started. I'm struggling 2 weeks in. 2023, they said it would be fun. Nope. It's only like about 2 weeks, and Chinese New Year is coming up this weekend, which means there's been a lot of preparation and a lot of people who are knocking at our doors and coming in and stuff like that, which is like the level of stress that I'm getting from not even doing anything productive is really something. Okay, yeah, so yeah, anyways, today's stream is kind of like a demonstration because I realized that while I did this before, I didn't actually like go too much into a detail on how it's done. So if you guys are actually into editing, like you want to know how to edit like without an editor because you're too broke, well, here's a solution. Right, if you go into my website for the free e-course, they should all be there. There are 3 specific blog posts in the free e-course section for you guys. So the first one is if you have no fucking clue what the hell is edits. Okay, edits and proofreading are 2 different things. So I will explain. Firstly, okay, maybe I can. Okay, hold on. I've been so out of touch. I kind of forgot how to do this. Hold up a second. This one. Ta-da! Okay. The resolution is kind of shit, but bear with me. Right, so this is the one. I just went on to my website, type in here edit, and all this whole thing come up here. So okay, the first one you want to do is look at types of edits. Okay, I'll just open all these. So yeah, this one first. So read this first. Okay, oh, another thing, before I actually get started with all these things and launching into teaching you how to edit yourself for free, I will be doing a few more blog posts to cover till the end of February, but then I might be taking a break, a hiatus for an indefinite amount of time for my weekly blog post because, firstly, I think I've covered everything that I've wanted to talk about for new writers. You guys have everything you have to help yourselves with. And if anything is missing and you let me know, then I will write it. But other than that, everything else should be great because, like, take a look at this. I think it's pretty set. So level 1 is before you begin. It's an introduction to do you want to be a writer? Do you know what you're getting into? Which honestly, everything here should be everything that I've experienced over the last 2-3 years with Webnovel itself, e-fiction, Wattpad, and whatever nots. This one here about making money, what should I write, what kind of things I should know before I get there, what kind of platforms. Yeah, I definitely did that like 2 years ago and I've been building on it. And then this one over here, so getting started, is where you have all your questions about your marketing, about how to be a self-made writer, how to start things, how to find things, what kind of things should I. Yeah, okay, it's all here. Like the basics of the basics, and not even the basics, just kind of like an introduction. And if you want to know a little bit more about the business side, but I'm not like a business kind of writer, you guys know me, I'm an underwriter. I write what I like to write and I'm too ahead of the trend. I'm a trendsetter, not a trend follower. Okay, so this over here are some of the things that I don't personally practice, but I know will work because I tried and the results with it, it's kind of like experimental for me, whereby it works, but honestly it's not for me. But you can definitely do this. So this is marketing, and then after that you have editing, which is what I'm gonna do today. So this one here, which is better, is it editing while writing or is it writing while editing? Okay, I'll talk about this a little more later on. The blog is still not up yet, but it's pretty simple to decide. And then here it's like manuscript. So this one we've done it last year with Dokaki. Dokaki is she was on the writers interview with me, and we actually got to this, but I did not download this, so whatever that I've written in here is based on research as well as the archives of the live stream that I had with her. Alright, and then after you're done with that, so this is when this section is like the most popular in my e-course for all the people who visited my website. How do I know? Because I have back-end data telling me that people are here. Most of you are here because you want to search for how do I write for WSA. It's always during the WSA periods that I see the most over here, or whenever there's like a big writing competition where money is involved, and then you see all these people, non-writers, who want to become writers. They were like, how do I do this? And then they always jump to here. Okay, before you jump to here, let me just bring you back to here. Okay, go for like the level 1 first. Read everything first. You would save your time, your tears, your blood, your everything if you start from level 1, because everything that you need to know is there to really know what you're getting into before you cry and you're like, oh my god, this is a slavery contract. Yes, it is, and it's recently changed. So if you didn't know, please look at one of my previous live streams. I explained the new 2022 December MGS. No, MSG is what I'm allergic to. Sorry, MGS, minimum guarantee scheme. So you need to have like what, 60 USD per month, like for the first 4 months that they'll match you up, and then additional $200 for bestsellers. That is what they are looking for. So I gave my advice over there. I wrote a blog about it, so you guys should know. It's somewhere here. Let me see. Not here, level 2. Yeah, here. Unit 1.5, the new 2022 Webnovel MGS scheme explained and advised. So what can you do? What should you do? Right, for those of you who have no fucking idea what's the difference between editing and proofreading, read here, it's in Unit 2, it's in level 2, Unit 3.4. So this is the one. And then some of it I have not written here. This is a little bit more technical, but honestly, I only write this because it has been a hot topic that I've been asked. But apart from that, on these things should all be available in like other people's writing courses on like other people's website. They are like true writer stuff right now. Which is why when I say writing tips, it kind of applies throughout the board. It's not just for e-fiction itself. It's for novels, it's for short novels, it's for fan fictions, if you will. It's for writing fictions in general, or like, yeah, it's basically fictions. You know, this is a little bit of an ICG spin, so I will write this. These are coming out in February. But after that, I may not be writing anymore because I feel like I've covered everything I needed to cover in the last 2 years writing this free course. And then this one over here, it's self-publishing and paperback for the writers who have been writing for a little while and you're like, I'm ready to take it to a next step. I want physical proof of my hard work and evidence of it. So you want to turn your manuscript from a soft copy into a hard copy. So these are some of the things that I've done. It is not too difficult and I don't really cover a lot of it because Amazon itself, Kindle itself, has more materials that are more detailed. You require all those, you can go there. I've put like all the links into these things here so you guys can check it out. This one over here. Okay, the only reason I did this is because I did not see a lot of people talking about this online on the internet, so it's not a big deal, but it's a question that was posed to me. That's why I wrote this. If there is anything in this section that is a little bit lacking that you want to know, you can let me know about it and then I'll add on to it. But other than that, I think February this year would be the conclusion of my ebook series. And then I don't know how I'm gonna port this over into like a stream topic thing. I don't really know because it's not my thing, you see. It's not really my thing to talk about all these as like a live course. Unless there are questions that people want to know, then I'll host like a question and answer live stream kind of topic. But I don't think so because I'm not popular. Right, so these are the ones. Let me just okay, right, so this ones I will briefly go through today. So later on you'll see how I demonstrate line editing in itself, but today let's first go through the different types of edits. For all you people who've not read this, please go and find it. It's free for a reason, okay? I don't put the direct links there, but it's not very difficult. Use the search function. I added that into my website for a reason, okay? I need to update this thing. Okay, never mind. Alright, so I'm gonna skip all those. Let's just take a look at this chart. It explains every single freaking thing you need to learn about editing. So yes, there are different kinds of editing. Why are there different kinds of editing? It's the same reason why you have to make plot outlines for your work. It's structure, it's pacing, it's development, it's content, it's a lot of things that are like, okay, if you're gonna make a cake, you start from the base. You don't just start from the base. When you start making that cake, you put in ingredients. That's the writing process. When the cake comes out, there are a few things you need to do to the cake. Firstly, you need to cut it in size, you need to adjust the shape, you need to get like, I don't know, the icing, the decorations and stuff like that, and then after that you have to get to like the details. So it's from a rougher state into a more refined state. That is editing. Is editing required? The answer is, well, it depends on your investment of time and budget. If you're an e-fiction writer, if you're a fan fiction writer, okay, and if there is no deadline, you can take your time. If you're a perfectionist, you might go through maybe 3 rounds of edits. It's really up to you, right? If you have no time and you feel like your English is good enough to fly by, then maybe you don't need that much of an editing process. You can skip all the rest and head to just proofreading. So without further ado, let's just take a look at what the fuck all this is. Okay, first we start off with the very raw structure. Structural edit or developmental edit. These parts of editing is taking a look at your content. Usually in a very draft stage of your manuscript whereby you have first written this out. Or if you only plotted the points down on the level 3 outline, or is it? Outline. Where is it? I wrote this 6.5 steps. So this, no, 3 levels. This one with Aina. Okay, so I explained this briefly. Yeah, this one over here. So level 3 of fleshing your plot over here, or level 2 of the skeleton is where your flow comes in, your pacing comes in. This is where is it? This is where your structural edit comes in and your developmental edit comes in. It's when the editor, a professional editor, reviews it, or maybe say your beta readers when you're asking for advice, right? So they will review it and say, "Oh my God, why are they like having a child first and then she's getting pregnant later? Like, are you not seeing the right things? Or like, why is there a sunflower in winter? Those kind of things." So it's a structural edit, developmental edit. Is it too fast? Is it too slow? Is there any good recommendation for plot pacings? What the fuck is your character doing? Did you have enough time for them to build this chemistry and relationship before they kiss? Or is it like, just like a plot pusher, like someone shoves them and then they have an accident to kiss and stuff like that happens, okay? This is the structural and developmental edit. Basically, it's checking your common sense. Yeah, like, okay, maybe writing doesn't have a lot of logic in it, but it definitely has to follow some kind of common sense that the readers can accept. If your writing kind of feels like someone from the loony bin just making claims like, "Oh, I've seen God," and you're like, "What the fuck? How do you know what God looks like?" Okay, that is something you need to fix. That stage of editing comes in very roughly. It can be the entirety of a manuscript if you are going for a completed work. If not, then it is during the first stages when you are writing or before you write. Okay, editing can happen before you write. So, should you edit while you write or should you edit after? Depends on the stage and the type of edits that you are looking at. Questions so far? I see a few people, but not a lot. It's okay. If you have any questions, just leave it in my comment section after the live stream if you do watch the VOD. But I'll just move on. Alright, the next stage is the sandwich stage, is the in-between part, is the part that people get confused. They're like, what's the difference between line edit and copy edit? Well, there are many writers out there who have written topics about this, and it's a very mixed consensus. Basically, alright, a copy edit and a line edit, I would say it's pretty much the same thing. Don't confuse yourself. It's just technical terms of what they want to look at in defined, like, Okay, line edit is literally you go line by line as you read when you edit, which is what I'm going to be doing later on after I explain this part. Right, I'll put timestamps for the people for VODs. Right, and then copy edit is a little bit rough between line edit and structural developmental edit. So it's the kind of edit whereby they just go with the vibes. They read through and they check the vibes, but they don't. How do I say? They are not the ones who go and nitpick on the choice of words, your tone, or even the flavor of how you portray things, right? They are not the ones who would say like, "Oh, this is too much of a mouthful," or they're not gonna be the ones who say like, "Oh, this is something that you need to change, like, the pronouns over here is repetitive, it's not clear enough." They are not the ones to do that. That is line edit. Copy edit, it's kind of like that. "Oh, okay, I get the flow of this. Maybe over here it's kind of like a little bit too fast. You might want to add a few lines into it," stuff like that. They will point those out for you. It's about your readability. And maybe a little bit more of okay, you fucked up with this spelling consistently. You missed out the C in consciousness all the time, like in the middle of it. Yeah, so that is something that they look into. It's a little bit of proofreading, but not so much. They still do, but it's very rough. You won't get the full thing. And then the last but not least, so once you're done with all those fucking things, normally copy and line edits go chapter by chapter, alright? So they see every single fucking line, every single fucking paragraph. You gotta make do with that. Okay, it's a very time-consuming thing. So some people claim that as writers and editors of your own books that you can do it at the same time. Some people claim that you can't, but for me, I'll personally say if you are not looking for quality, you can do it at the same time. But if you're looking for quality, it's best to leave it at the end and comb it through while you're doing the proofreading at the same time. By the way, I have 2 proofreading processes for myself, but I'll talk about that after I explain what the fuck proofreading is, right? So once you're done with your copy edit / line edits, you're gonna move on to proofreading. So copy edits, once you're very sure that the contents of whatever you've written is exactly what you want to see and what the readers would be satisfied with, it's like a beta stage, it's ready to be launched, but it's not perfect yet, so you need a final revision, and that final revision is kind of optional. Right? So for example, in proofreading, Yes can be like it doesn't have to be human. Okay, if you're not an English native speaker, you're not a pro. Okay, you can outsource this. Okay, let me just tell you a hack. Grammarly is free. Okay. Do not use the Word document spell check. Do not use the Google spell check. Download Grammarly. It's free, okay? It doesn't just check your spelling and your tenses. It also checks your punctuations, your capitalizations, whether or not you are using the correct American/British terms, which by the way, I am mixed, so that kind of sucks. They don't have one that's customized, so I have to teach my Grammarly how to accept quote-unquote mistakes. Hello, rookie. Good afternoon, sensei. I am not sensei, but thank you. Right, so if you have any questions, please let me know. So proofreading can be, outsourced to something else that is a little bit higher quality than yourself. So if you speak broken English, like me, sometimes I learn Duolingo a little bit too much. My English is confused. I need Grammarly to help me because I don't understand what I'm talking about. My accent becomes confused at times as well, thanks to that. So yes, Grammarly is a very good way to get that done. I don't know any other software that I rely on a lot, but I use the paid Grammarly version, okay? It is worth it for myself, but for all of you who are writing like for the first time, I think the free one just does a sufficient enough job. Like, you don't really have to go that far as to really try and change your vocabulary and stuff like that. I mean, they will have suggestions, but it's not too important, so I would not really recommend you to get the paid Grammarly version. Not yet, okay? Unless you know that you are ready for the next step, that you're not just exploring if writing is your path, you really want to commit to the writing path, then yes. Okay, Danger Daily has a comment. Grammarly is mostly good for proofreading but not editing, right? Yes, you are correct. It is a proofreading software. It is not an editing software because it does not check the contents. It doesn't really do much in editing for me, the free version at least. No, even the paid version doesn't do much for editing. So you can rest assured that this is your proofreader, okay? You pay about, I don't know how much Grammarly charges. I think it's about $150 or maybe $200, okay, for like a year's worth of subscription. But if you were to go for a proofreader, a real proofreader, a human proofreader who's gonna also use Grammarly to help them, honestly, just skip the human proofreader from Fiverr because they're gonna charge you more than $200 per manuscript. And if your manuscript is gonna be like 120k words long, you're gonna spend at least $300 just for proofreading. Just get Grammarly, okay? Just skip those, do the work yourself, it's cheaper. If you really want to commit to the step of going semi-pro, yeah, I would suggest you get Grammarly for proofreading, not for editing. You still need skills to edit yourself if you know what you're doing, and if you don't, I suggest that you get a writing mentor or you get a professional freelance editor to do it for you. There are lots of professional freelance editors, and honestly, it's a trial and error because I tried several over the years before even Webnovel, and yeah, there are good ones, there are bad ones, there are cheap ones, there are not so cheap ones, there are ones that are just, I'm doing this for the sake of money, and they're the ones who really teach you because they are like mentors themselves. Yeah, so I know Debbie is one of the people I know who is a good editor. Unfortunately, I've been writing e-fiction, so I haven't really gotten to her as much as I wanted to. Yeah, she really broke it down for me with like graphs and charts and gave me a full, detailed report analysis on my writings, where my strengths are, where my weaknesses are, the places that I can develop, and the uniqueness of the style, the pros and cons, as well as a little bit of marketing analysis. Oh, Debbie's good. Right, she's like the only editor I stuck with ever since my self-publishing days, so that's the one. Yeah, so if you're gonna get Grammarly Premium or Pro, it doesn't really matter. Proofreading, it's only good for proofreading, not for editing, okay? Please don't make that mistake. So yeah, I explained all this in here so you can read. I actually broke it down in simple English, so yes, that's that. Okay, so self-editing tips for new writers. If you are new, I don't know how new is new, this is it. So Okay, first and foremost, when you do self-editing, there are two things you must know. Firstly, it's not about the English. Firstly, it's about whether or not you have common sense. Okay, you need to be your worst critic when you're editing. If you have to delete an entire chapter because it sucks, you have to delete it. Okay, you're not going to be a writer when you are an editor in your own book. If it sucks and it's no good, you need to redo it. You have to redo it. It's your baby, yes, I know, but you have to kill your baby sometimes. Okay, you have to be ready for that. If you are not ready for that, do not self-edit. You have to be your worst critic. Fortunately for my case, I've been fed criticism since the day I was born for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which means I am very capable of suiciding. Yeah, I look forward to killing myself and ripping myself apart and making me feel like the worst piece of shit whenever I do this. Right, that's the first. The second one is that when you are self-editing, you need to forget everything that you have as a writer. Because you are not editing as a writer, you are editing as an editor, and the job of an editor is not the same as a writer. A writer's job is to bring in new content, new ideas into the world in the form of words. But an editor's job is to make the writer sound coherent and sound good and make the writer the best that they can be. So your job as an editor, if you are self-editing or editing for others, is not to change what they've written, but it is to make it shine. So it's a lot about skills, writing skills. If you do not have the writing skills and techniques at your disposal, I suggest you go and check that out first, alright? Build yourself up and then you can slowly test it out, self-editing. Like maybe you want to look into one or two areas to improve on for the first few attempts and then slowly build upon that. And trust me, editing can take hours, okay? I think 80,000 words for E-Ghost itself took me 2 months to edit the entire manuscript, and I have to do several rounds of it because in editing you read more than you write, and then I want you to save your drafts when you edit, unless you are me. Alright, and you are absolutely sure that this is complete trash, that anything else you write after this would be better than the trash you wrote previously, then yes, you can delete that. But otherwise, you want to save it. Always save the things that you are self-editing. Alright, so these are the two things I need you to know before you embark on self-editing. So yes, first tip, forget the fucking story. You are not here to be a writer. You are here to be an editor. So approach with a clean state of mind. No judgments, no prejudice, no self-love, just self-hate. Alright? And if something makes you question, when you come across a part when you're writing, you're like, what the fuck is this? Okay, chances are it's trash. Delete. Delete or like highlight it first and then rewrite it and save it somewhere. So in case like, you know, you have to consult your brain from the past, like what the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I thinking? Where the fuck was I going? Okay, you leave it first. For me, I will delete. But for you, if you're first starting out, I would suggest you copy and paste it somewhere or like save it in a draft and then like, you know, take this out. This is a place that needs rework. And chances are you might have to rewrite it completely, which you would see I do that quite often with my edits. the pain, okay? Tip 3, less is more. In editing, you would add less and delete more. That is something that I can assure you. So, your manuscript, okay, if you are an overwriter, you are trying to cut. If you're an underwriter, you're trying to expand. But always look for less. Don't look for more. You are trying to keep it concise. You're trying to keep the clarity and not just sound impressive, but nobody understands what the fuck you're saying. Alright? Okay, I have a question. What counts as editing? Well, I was explaining just now what counts as editing. There are different types of editing, so it depends on what you want to see. Right? Editing is much like shaping a cake, alright? You have to get to the best that you can be in several steps. You need to check things for like logical flow. You need to check things like development in the content of the plot. You gotta check things like whether the tone is correct, whether it's clear, whether it's concise, the kind of things that engage the reader, if this place is boring or not, do you have enough details and this and that, not just the grammatical structure. The grammatical part that most people are talking about in editing is the very last stage of editing. Don't be mistaken. It is still editing, but it's a stage of editing called proofreading. Right? So if you take a look here, Most things that we look at in editing, major points, logical flow in plot, content quality. Are you writing to the best of quality, or are you just saying things like good and nice? Replace those fucking words. Good and nice are generic. Good, nice, bad. Every time my students come to me, I will tell them to replace them. You can say things like terrific. You can say things like horrendous. You can say things like perfect. Why do you have to use good, nice, and bad? That's generic, okay? Don't do that. So, content quality. Are you lazy with your writing? Do you engage your brains when you do that? You have a vast vocabulary, okay? Don't just go with things that are easy. Go with things that make you stand out as a writer. Find your style, right? And this number 3 is actually very important. Delivery of ideas. You have great ideas. Most times, all writers are born with the ability of great imagination. But why do their ideas normally fail? Because they fail to deliver it in a way that stupid people with 2 brain cells can understand. Your readers may not be smart. You may be smart, but your readers are not you. So you gotta write in a way that they understand you. Gotcha? Alright? So, choice of words, language itself. Okay, you can use bombastic words that nobody understands, and trust me, that book is only gonna sell to people who are like you, which is not a lot, right? Or you can choose to write things that even kindergartners can find funny. So that is your choice. Who is your target market, right? Correct the language, choice of words, and everything to the target market itself. Or even if it's like non-natives, culture also plays a part. Okay, your expression, your tone, right? A writer's style. This one's more towards style, so not really everybody is like, it's not applicable for everyone. But this thing, expression, okay, more is not always good. Less is more. I want to say this, okay, cut the redundancy when you do the expression in your tone. It doesn't matter what kind of style it is. Always make sure that you do not write, okay, big mistake, do not write in passive tones. I know it sounds better, but only for you. You want to be able to see a painting at first glance and know what the fuck it's about, right? You don't want to see something like, oh, okay, it's a red circle, and then you zoom out. Oh, it's a red circle with a dot. Oh, it's a red circle with 5 dots. It's not 1 dot. What the fuck is going on? And at the end of it, you see something like a cookie. And it's like, what the fuck? Just tell people it's a cookie first, then describe it later. Understand? Big, too small. No small, too big. No reverse. Chronological, if possible. Make it easy for your readers. This part here, expression. I don't care how you express it. Make sure you do not write in passive. Make sure it's easy to follow. Make sure it's easy to understand. That you need to look for in editing. If you read, you're like okay, where is this going? Oh, so this is where it was going, because you forget everything. That is terrible. Rewrite it. You have to rework that kind of section that you're looking for, okay? Next one. Writing techniques, precision. So this one is a little bit closer towards the polishing part. So writing techniques, it can be many things, okay? But most of it here is more towards the proofreading side. So your writing techniques can include all the pacing. If you've done all your content, your structures, your logical flow, your character development, and you know exactly how it's going to work out, then you remove all the plot holes. All that is left down here is how you use English. Writing techniques is how you use English, basically. Okay, so it's fine-tuning, and if you do not know this, Grammarly can do that for you. So does it answer your question so far? Yeah, so this is what editing means. When you self-edit though, this is what you're looking to do. You're looking to shape it into something that's best to be put out there for your readers. Not for you, but for your readers, okay? So less is more. I'm talking about pacing and this thing. So yeah, it's pretty much, I actually did an editing stream before, but not so detailed, right? And then tip 4, be your worst enemy. Like I said, the first 2 things you need to know as a person who is doing self-edits, you need to be your worst critic. You have to be your biggest hater. There's nobody else out there who can hate you more than how you hate yourself. That you need to have. If you don't, then you can't self-edit. I'm sorry, but you can't self-edit. Go get an editor, alright? Question so far? Alright, so you gotta kill yourself. You have to look forward to suicide. I never claimed to be sane. So this works for me. Alright, so how to edit for mass release. I did this a while back. My process has slightly changed. But yes, okay, so like I said, I am an advocate of Grammarly, but even Grammarly doesn't support me because I'm not sponsored. But I'm a heavy advocate of Grammarly itself, so get that done. Don't just use Word document spell checks, it's not very good. Don't just use Google Chrome, it's not that great. Oh my, yeah, anyways. Okay, down here, and then, okay, pause between paragraphs. Okay, this part here, I want to change a little bit. I want to talk about should you edit while you write or should you edit after you write. Alright, and then the word checker and all this. Okay, I might have to update this a little bit, but yeah. So, okay, I see questions. Wouldn't making it too easy to understand make it spoon-feeding? If it's spoon-feeding, it means that your content isn't interesting enough. That's what I can say. It's how you package it. It's not about spoon-feeding the details, okay? You never spoon-feed details. You can, how do I say, breadcrumbing. We call it breadcrumbing, okay? If you are spoon-feeding, you're writing a children's book. But if you are writing a book that captivates people in an easy to follow and understand way, that's called breadcrumbing. There is a difference between spoon-feeding and breadcrumbing. That is under writing techniques. It's about foreshadowing. In case you didn't know, you can go and check it out. You can read it on your own. It's foreshadowing. I won't write there and I won't talk about that because so many other professional writers have already done it. And that's not really part of e-fiction or web novel. So my scope is to cover things for web novelists and novice writers who want to explore e-fiction. It's a little bit different from traditional writing. But that, what you're talking about, is traditional writing. So you can actually go find that out. And honestly, one of the good writers from Webnovel who was a traditional writer, you can ask Aimeline. I would recommend you to ask. She's normally very helpful, so I think if you can find her on Discord and ask her questions and mention that you came from my stream because I recommended, she'll be happy to help. Right, any other questions before I go through whether or not you should edit while you write or write while you edit? If not, then I'll just jump straight to that. Right, so this part for editing a mass release. So like I said, there are two kinds of edits. So it depends on the kind of things that you want to obtain or you want to achieve at the end of everything. You're okay. Well, it's not released yet. No, it's not. It's not released yet. Okay, it's not released yet, Sag. Okay, let me just promote this. Alright, okay, so would you line edit or would you line edit while you write or would you line edit after you write? Okay, firstly, you cannot line edit while you write because line edit means that the script is already finished. Can you content edit or structural or developmental edit while you write or you have to do it after? Well, it depends. You can even do it before you write. Okay, so part of your outline that you can be applied both ways. But proofreading can only be done after you write or during your writing after a paragraph, not while you are writing the line. So that is the difference. What I do suggest is know your purpose. Are you in a rush? If you are in a rush and you only have an hour to finish 2,000 words, I suggest that you edit while you go, okay? Because you wouldn't have time to sit down, forget everything, and then be your own worst critic. There's no such thing. You don't have time, so you would do it while you're writing. But if you are going to make it into a paperback, alright, say you've actually finished writing everything and you're gonna make it into a paperback, do not rush the process, okay? Just take it easy, go from the start again, because by the time you are finished with the entire manuscript, you might realize that, hey, I had plot holes 15 chapters ago that I did not realize by the time I've ended the book. So that is when you have to go through the structural edits again, the content, and rewrite it with the correct order of things. The reason why I know this is because Egos was kind of full of loopholes in a sense. So the little details don't add up. And that is something you can't really do while you're on the go. It has to be done after. So when do you apply which? I would say for web novels, okay, especially if you're a new writer, fuck the editing, okay? Fuck the editing after you write. Just do it while you write. Why? So that you can read your past chapters 6 months down the road after you finish your first work and cringe to death. And then you would take note of how you can be a better writer for the next story that you do. Right? It is about practice. It is about getting used to. It's about noting the fatal points. Like, for example, I have a terrible habit of redundancy with could have been. It's passive, okay? Have been. Been is passive form, okay? It's perfect tense. You don't want perfect tense. You want simple past whenever possible. Had, just use had. The entire thing. Could not. Could have been. Could not. Literally, that is one of my fatal flaws. I also have a terrible habit of using the word just unnecessarily, simply, unnecessarily, and too, unnecessarily. So those are the mistakes that I make as a writer. I do not find that while I was going through the chapters during the edits while I write, but I found it after. Yes, so when you read through with a fresh pair of eyes, that is when those mistakes become glaring. It's part of writing techniques. It's part of honing your writing style and building it into your characters so that it's second nature to you as a writer to not do those. By the way, those are actually fillers, so filler words in your content itself. Do I make sense? Right, so for you as a first-time writer, I suggest you fuck the editing at the end. Just do it as you go so that you know exactly how terrible it is, and then try to build that into your character until a certain point whereby you feel like your writing techniques or your writing skills have plateaued, when there is no longer any possible or visible room of improvement no matter how much you write. That is when I would suggest you edit while you write and edit after you write, especially if you have the time. Do I make sense? So that is my current editing process, which is why whenever I write by seasons. Okay, let me just change back to show you exactly what I mean, because it's been a long while since I last done a stream like that, like a talking stream. You've normally seen me do streams of me writing and working without talking, but today I'm talking. Right, so this one is Scrivener. Used to reach people. No, what happened here? Oh no, it's not loading. It's not loading. It's fucking not loading. Okay, I have a computer issue whereby it's not loading properly. Okay, the Scrivener updates and the Google Drive updates and the updates just make it really hard for me. So sometimes I'm so afraid that my thing is like lost. Okay, so as you can see, this is how it works. Okay, I wrote an entire season. So from chapter 129 to chapter 161, these are the things that are in season 4. Okay, ding. Right, season 4. Okay, those are not. Those are work files. Okay, so season 4 manuscripts. These are the ones. So I've written the half of it previously in like 2 weeks. I think from 129 to 145, and then I've edited all this like off stream and off screen itself. And then after that, there is this part here when I actually wrote this in the next 2 weeks. So it's like 146 to 161. I wrote it in like one breath. So it's about I don't fucking know. Wait, let me just check. I think it's about 60,000 words. No, it's about 50,000 words. So 52,000 words ish. But by the time I finish editing this, it might be about 60,000 or 55,000 words, depending. Because I am usually an underwriter. I'm not an overwriter, which kind of sucks. Yeah, I don't have a lot of redundancy, but I like to skip through a lot of things and just like write one line when originally there are a lot of details to be enjoyed, but I'm not a very visual person in that sense, so I need to add on. Okay. Oh my god, I got a bunch of comments. Okay, thank you. It's a podcast. I don't know if it's a podcast. My voice is not the best, but thank you. Alright, Danger Daily has a question. Okay, if you change the plot point of a story while the story is halfway done, would it be better to just delete or redo some of the previous chapters? Okay. First, let me just answer if that will come under structural edit. Yes, it does come under structural edit. Means you have to redo from the very beginning of your editing phase, which is why whenever you edit, there are usually multiple rounds of editing. And if you hire an editor, they will have to return to you with a script full of questions, and you will have to rework it and then get back to them again. So chances are an editing process with an editor, a freelance editor, might take anywhere from about 2 weeks to 2 months, because the manuscript just keeps coming and going. Okay, they might complete reading through your manuscript fully in like 2 weeks, and then they give it back to you, and then you might need another 2 weeks to rework everything that they say, sometimes even rewriting the entire thing. Or you might decide to heartbreakingly not publish that book. It can happen. It has happened. I have deleted wholly written manuscripts before, only to rewrite a similar thing years later. Yes, so it depends on the writer itself, and if you think if this manuscript or this work that you've written is good enough for the world. So if you've written it like halfway, okay, I'll just give you a real story, okay? Scenario, I fucked up the world setting for the liberal assassin, okay? And I've actually written it halfway. The entire manuscript was done halfway, and I fucked up the entire world setting, so I had to obviously delete that and rewrite the whole shit. I had to go back to the very beginning of the planning stage to redo the entire story structure, but I kept the plot points because I wanted the characters to, go in a similar way. I have several things in mind when I did that because I wanted to cover several topics along the way, so it was designed as such. But because the world building was done so poorly that it defies logic, I had to redo the entire thing. I had to re-scrape it. I had to think of new ways to achieve the effect that I want to get to. So whenever you write, I think I've done this before. Let me just change back. Where is it? What was that thing called again? Oh, my brain is suddenly not thinking. Was that? It's not planning stage. What was that thing called? Oh, maybe it's the word plan. I'm not too sure. What was that thing called? Writing retreats, creative deadlines. No. Structure, outline. No. What was that? Oh, shit. I suddenly cannot remember. God damn it. Outline. No, not quite. We suddenly forgot what I want to say. Where was I again? I forgot what I want to say. Shit. I cannot remember. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I remember now. Okay. Whenever you start a book, okay, before you start a book, you must already have the end in mind. That's what I wanted to say. Yes. You must already have an end in mind before you start a book, because that would determine the kind of points or major arcs that you want to cover in your story. So you don't have to really rewrite or rework everything. It's just how much of a change you need. Yeah. Or if you should approach it in a completely different way. So for me, I rewrote that book 3 times, okay, in the span of 2 years. It took me 2 years to release that book. And it still has a lot of flaws because I'm not good at science fiction. I write fiction. I don't write science fiction as well. I'm not good at science. I thought coke was cocaine. But coke is carbon. It's coal. It's anyways, yeah, I'm not the best in science, alright? That's the reason why I'm a language teacher and I'm not a math or science teacher, because I suck at it. Right? Does that answer your question? How you want to rework it or change the plot depends on how your story ends. What is the motive of your arc that you've designed? What is the result? And then you shape how you want to get that result. And depending on how much change is required, you might have to redo the entire thing, or you can just do minor edits. That depends on you as a writer. Yeah. Questions? No questions? Did I answer the question? Okay, can I just take time to switch it back? Oh my god, my brain is not working that well. My voice is okay, my brain is not okay. After I did yoga, my body just died. My brain died along with it. Brain is a muscle. Okay, question from Rookie. I'm writing a book and I started with the end in mind, but the flow made me change the end 3 times. Yes, sometimes it can happen. It depends on the kind of writer that you are, honestly. There are many kinds of writer. The 3 main kinds of writer are a planster, the kind with a plan in mind and writes according to the plan. A penster, someone who writes by the fly of their pants, someone who doesn't fucking plan, someone who's like, oh, I feel inspired today, let's just write regardless of common sense. Yeah, there are those kinds, and there are the ones who is in between the planster, the plan, whatever that is, that's me. Alright, so the kind who generally knows the end and the major arcs, but everything else in between, I can be very flexible with how I go about it. That is me. So it really depends on what works for you and what your writing style is. By the way, you should know that my common enemy in writers are the ones who don't plan. Which is why all my free course, my free e-course, in the entirety of my free e-course, I emphasize Haley about outlining and structures, because I don't believe that anybody without any kind of logical thinking can make a book that makes sense. Like, literally, your book is just like unicorns and bullshit, rainbow thoughts, and nothing in there is concrete or solid. It's fun, okay? Stories made like that are fun, but at the same time, for someone who truly wants, like, I'm the kind of reader who wants to be engaged in an intellectual manner. Those kind of books are for children, not me. That's why I don't fancy them. I don't really support that kind of writing style. So if you were to follow my e-course and you want to treat me as your sensei, you need to know I will definitely scold you if you come without a plan, if you write without a plan. But if you write with a plan and it changes, that's okay. It happens, okay? Life never goes according to any of our plans. It's as simple as that. It fucks us up. But what makes you a good writer, what makes you a successful individual in life, is how you overcome those fuck up. Okay, you have to find ways to get things done. It doesn't matter how. If it works, it's not a stupid solution, okay? Anything that works is a good solution. That is my rule of thumb. It may look ridiculous, it may sound ridiculous, it may seem ridiculous, but yeah, just it works, okay? If it works, it works. You the results speak for itself. That's what I can say. Okay, have confidence. Have confidence that it's completely you, and that it works, and that nobody else can do the same thing that you did, because it's your method. It's something you own. It's something that you created. It's something you invented. It's something you own. Alright, no plan survives an encounter with reality. Yeah, my brother is a walking example of life failing every single one of his plans. They all make logical sense, but everything just fucked up. Luck is also a skill, or rather should I say luck is a factor in every writer or content creator's success. Yeah, luck is something that really everybody requires a little bit of it, Some people have more of it, but of course, 99% hard work and skill, okay? 1% luck. That's all you need. 1% luck. So you have to be ready to catch that 1% luck, but first, make sure that you have your 99% of skill and determination to catch that 1% luck. That's all you really need. Questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna get to the boring part of this stream, whereby I'm gonna turn up the BGM and not talk anymore, and maybe talk occasionally to explain how the fuck I'm doing this. But mostly just actually working through what I'm supposed to work through, because it's been an hour. I still have not actually done any real editing work. Questions? Or maybe I should start a separate stream. I don't really know if people want to watch this part, though. It's kind of boring. It's rather slow paced because I'm mostly thinking. I don't know if I can think loud, but yeah. If you have any questions, then let me know. But yeah, so the takeaway point is announcement. I will not be continuing my weekly blog for the free e-course after February, because firstly, I don't have enough plans, and secondly, I've done everything that I think I want to do for the free e-course. If there are any other topics you would like to know, you can let me know in comments and all. As for the bringing over the e-course to YouTube, I truly have no idea how to do that, so I need some help, suggestions from you guys. If you want to see anything more than silent writing streams, I can do that, but otherwise, I think most of it I will probably just go to my second channel to create random contents, including song covers and playing games. I found recently puzzle games that are nice, so yeah, I might do that, or I might just do Minesweeper talking stream. Yeah, that's all. Maybe a author Q&A session with me, if you're a writer and you want to know questions, burning questions, I might host one of those topics as well, one of those streams for an hour. Depends. I don't really know what to do with this channel anymore. It's growing, but I've not made any content worthy of the subscribers that I'm getting for no reason. I'm like, where the fuck are you guys coming from? And it's from 2 years ago, the streams that I made, It's not outdated yet, because the industry kind of moves slow and I'm ahead of time, but it's still relevant. So yeah, that's all. Any questions? Last call for questions before I either end the stream or launch into silent line editing. Maybe I should rename this. Yeah, line editing for noobs. Okay, so let's hear your suggestions. OV? What OV? What is OV? Overlord Venus? He's supposed to be my co-host for the writing competition, the WPC writing prompt thingy, but the W and the Webnovel has not given us any new prompts of it, so I just like, we're not doing it. We're like on hiatus. Yes, I know Overlord Venus. It has been a series for a while until they decided to discontinue WPC for temporary. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but yeah, I told Overlord Venus that we will come back to the series if it ever comes back. Like if the WPC ever comes back, it's a seasonal thing. We don't really know. Yeah, I don't really know. Unless you guys have like I don't know, you want to join in challenge prompts, like writing challenge prompts, we can arrange those kind of things. But I don't really want to go through like become a critic of all these people. We just want to have fun, read each other's prompts, go crazy, that kind of stuff, build a community. I can definitely do that. Or if you want to see my I don't know, reactions to your atrocious attempts of writing prompts, then by all means, I might open a few of those streams for submissions, but not a lot, because reading always breaks my brain, especially when it comes from people who are not as interesting as I want them to be. Yes, but you gotta know, WPC is discontinued for the time being because of the two major sub-competitions of the WSA. The reason why Webnovel is doing this is because they need more content to bring in for their new MGS schemes. So it's the Fantasy Open Theme for 3 months as well as the FL Open Theme for 3 months. It's currently that WPC is no longer in continuation for a while now, since last year. Ever since WSA ended. Yeah, you gotta know that. It's not something that I've not considered before, but it's not coming out, you see? Otherwise, Overlord Venus would be with me every Wednesday to do this, from 2 PM to 4 PM GMT plus 8. That was the agreement we had. We said we wanted to grow my channel to 500 subscribers, but it looks like it's not absolutely necessary right now. Yeah, so I mean, Webnovel is moving towards a very commercialized, capitalist, idealistic kind of direction. They're thinking about the profits, they're not thinking about the writers. If I said it, I actually did a stream, Webnovel is a fuckboy. If you want to know, go and watch that. So I think that's about it, really. My streams are usually not as long because I don't have a lot of things to talk about. What I want to say, I've said it all. I think I will do the line editing off stream because it kind of doesn't clutter the content of what I'm creating for this stream. Yes. So any last questions before I end the stream? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm not using a voice changer, but okay. So no more questions. I hope this stream has been helpful. It's kind of impromptu. If you do have any other things you want me to talk about, just leave it in the comment section. All right. Right, so I'm gonna end the stream right now. Thanks for joining. I'll see you guys next time when I see you guys. Also, Discord is in the links of the video description, so go help yourself with that. It's in the links. Everything is in the links. Check the video description. Okay, I put all the useful links there, so I will not answer that question. See you guys another time. Bye bye.